Zed and Addison return to Seabrook for a peaceful summer, but things change when they become counselors at Camp Redwood, where two vampire clans, the modern Daywalkers and gothic Shadyside vampires, clash. Strange symbols and howls signal something ancient awakening. Eliza and Willa arrive to help as the team uncovers a hidden chamber tied to vampire origins. Under a blood eclipse, they unite all monster factions to defeat the ancient vampire Umbra. Seabrook is saved, but in the forest, a glowing portal opens and a new magical threat looms. In the opening scene of Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires, Zed and Addison return to Seabrook after completing their first year at Mountain College, full of excitement, growth, and new dreams. The town they once fought to unify has transformed into a peaceful haven where zombies, werewolves, humans, and even aliens now live in complete harmony. Flags representing all monster factions wave proudly across the town square. New inclusive schools and community centers have been built, and interspecies friendships have become the norm. Zed, now more mature and driven than ever, is eager to give back to his hometown and use what he's learned in college to help the next generation of monsters feel seen and accepted. Addison, finally embracing her alien identity and leadership role in the monster community, is equally thrilled to spend the summer reconnecting with her roots and helping young creatures adjust to their hybrid identities. Both of them look forward to a quiet, joyful summer, free from supernatural conflict, possibly even taking the next step in their relationship. However, subtle signs begin to hint that this peace is fragile. A strange red moon appears in the night sky, unsettling even the most composed of Seabrook's citizens. Cryptic vampire-like symbols begin appearing in old town ruins and forests surrounding the city, and some residents report hearing whispers in the woods, voices calling from deep forgotten places. Though most dismiss these events as myths or seasonal folklore, a few elders recognize the signs as omens of something long buried now beginning to rise. Despite the town's outward tranquility, something ancient and powerful is awakening beneath the surface, something that predates even the werewolves, and its arrival threatens to tear apart the very harmony that Seabrook has fought so hard to build. Zed and Addison's return, once filled with hope, unknowingly marks the beginning of a new, darker chapter as the dawn of the vampires quietly begins to cast its shadow. Arrival at Camp Redwood, Zed and Addison, still riding the high of Seabrook's harmony, decide to take on roles as summer camp counselors at the legendary Camp Redwood, a sprawling forested retreat known for hosting monster youth from across the region. They're excited about the opportunity, not just for the chance to spend time together away from city life, but also to mentor young creatures and help foster the same unity that changed Seabrook. From the outside, Camp Redwood looks like the perfect getaway. Treehouse cabins nestled among ancient woods, monster-themed sports and art programs, and a peaceful lake glowing under the moonlight. But it doesn't take long for Zed and Addison to notice something's off. Beneath the surface-level fun and cheerful songs, deep tensions are brewing between two mysterious new vampire factions who have been allowed into the camp for the first time, the Daywalkers and the Shadyside vampires. The Daywalkers are sleek, modern vampires, confident, sun-resistant and charismatic. And they embrace human fashion, daylight activities, and believe in evolving beyond old vampire traditions. Led by the poised and intelligent Nova, they seem to fit in easily with the camp's progressive ideals. In contrast, the Shadyside vampires, led by the brooding and regal Victor, are traditionalists who live strictly by ancient codes. They dress in dark, gothic attire, avoid daylight, and regard the Daywalkers as traitors to vampire heritage. Tension crackles in the air whenever the two groups cross paths. Glares are exchanged, ancient insults are muttered under breath, and even the campfires seem to dim when both groups are near. Zed and Addison find themselves caught in the middle, unsure of how to diffuse the growing rivalry. As arguments escalate into near-physical confrontations and cryptic remarks about an ancient power begin to surface, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary camp rivalry. Something darker, older, and far more dangerous than a personality clash is simmering beneath the surface, and if left unchecked, it could reignite a war not just between vampires, but all of monsterkind. Meeting the vampires, Zed and Addison attempt to take a more active role in easing the mounting tension at Camp Redwood by arranging formal introductions with the leaders of the two vampire factions, Nova, the poised and progressive leader of the Daywalkers, and Victor, the cold yet commanding figurehead of the Shadyside vampires. The meeting is tense from the very beginning. Nova arrives surrounded by her polished group, exuding charm and modernity. She speaks eloquently about embracing change, blending with other creatures, and moving vampires into a new age of peace and daylight living. In sharp contrast, Victor enters like a shadow from another century, tall, silent, and flanked by followers draped in deep velvet cloaks, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. He distrusts Nova deeply, accusing her of diluting pure vampire bloodlines and betraying ancient laws. Their conversation quickly turns into a verbal sparring match, with each side referencing a bitter history of betrayal, excommunication, and secret battles that predate even werewolf history. As Zed and Addison struggle to mediate, the mood of the camp takes a chilling turn. Strange happenings begin to intensify. Sudden temperature drops, strange fogs that creep in during daylight, and animals fleeing the nearby woods in panic. During one heated discussion in the campus' oldest building, a stone hall rumored to be built over an ancient vampire tomb, Victor accidentally activates an old seal hidden beneath the floorboards. A section of the stone shifts, revealing part of a long-forgotten vampiric prophecy etched in crimson ink. The markings speak of a cursed reunion. When the bloodlines of night and light war beneath one moon, the darkness shall return to feed. Both Nova and Victor grow visibly unsettled, though they interpret the prophecy differently. Nova believes it to be a metaphor, a warning to evolve or perish, while Victor sees it as a sign that their ancient enemy, a monstrous vampire ancestor exiled centuries ago, is preparing to rise again. For Zed and Addison, this moment shatters any hope of a simple summer. What they assumed was a petty rivalry rooted in pride is actually the reawakening of a supernatural crisis that could consume not only Camp Redwood, but all of Seabrook. As the old prophecy whispers through the room, lit by the flicker of dying torches, one truth becomes clear. If these vampires can't find common ground, the doom foretold in the stone might soon become reality. Strange events begin. The once vibrant and lively atmosphere of Camp Redwood begins to unravel as a chilling unease settles over the grounds. What starts as subtle disturbances, unusual chills in the air, birds flying away from camp without warning, and shadows that seem to move on their own, quickly escalates into a wave of sinister phenomena. Campers and counselors begin suffering from vivid, shared nightmares, filled with blood-red moons, ancient fanged beasts, and cryptic symbols carved into stone. These dreams leave them waking in cold sweats, unable to shake the feeling that something is watching them from the woods. The forest surrounding the camp, once a place for hikes and storytelling, becomes eerily silent during the day and echoing with unnatural howls at night, low, guttural sounds that don't match any known creature. The trees themselves seem to bend and twist, as if reacting to something stirring deep below their roots. Stranger still, ancient vampire glyphs begin appearing overnight, drawn in black ash across trees, walls, and even bunk beds. These symbols are foreign even to Nova and Victor, suggesting something older than either faction's traditions. Perhaps a long-lost sect or a sealed-off bloodline. Panic begins to spread among the young campers, and Zed and Addison are caught in a maelstrom of fear, denial, and blame. Nova accuses Victor and the Shadyside vampires of using old dark magic to intimidate her people and reclaim dominance, while Victor lashes back, claiming the Daywalkers have unleashed a curse by denying their heritage and meddling with sacred rituals. Both sides begin fortifying their separate camp sections, and old wounds are ripped open with every new unexplained event. Zed tries to investigate logically using clues from the camp's history and the prophecy they uncovered, while Addison begins sensing an emotional pull, possibly linked to her own supernatural lineage that draws her toward the forest's heart. As tension boils and fingers point, the truth becomes increasingly clear. Something ancient, something buried beneath the camp for generations, is slowly waking up. And unless the rival vampire factions can stop fighting and start listening, whatever is rising from the depths may consume them all. The summer of peace is over. The nightmare has only just begun. Eliza and Willa join the mission. The rising chaos at Camp Redwood finally pushes Zed and Addison to seek help beyond the campgrounds. Realizing the danger is far greater than anything they can handle alone, they reach out to their most trusted allies. Eliza, the brilliant zombie tech expert with a knack for hacking into historical archives and encrypted magical texts, and Willa, the fierce and intuitive alpha of the werewolves, whose connection to the supernatural world often gives her instincts that others lack. Both friends arrive at the camp under cover of night, greeted not by cheerful reunions, but by the thick tension hanging over the forest like a storm cloud. Eliza sets up a mobile command center in a hidden cabin, using her custom tech to scan the camp for supernatural energy spikes and translate ancient glyphs that have continued appearing in new areas. Willa immediately senses a deep, ancient energy pulsing beneath the soil, something she describes as older than werewolves, colder than death. With the team reassembled, the investigation kicks into full gear. Eliza deciphers several overlapping vampire symbols and traces them to a nearly forgotten piece of vampire lore, a hidden underground chamber of origin, believed to be the resting place of one of the first vampire elders, a being rumored to possess unimaginable power and a deep hatred for unity among monster kind. Willa leads the group to an area of the forest where the earth seems unnaturally warm and covered in twisted black roots. Beneath it lies an entrance sealed by ancient vampire magic, accessible only when blood from both vampire bloodlines, Daywalker and Shadyside, is offered willingly. Convincing Nova and Victor to help proves difficult, but the weight of the prophecy and growing signs of an impending awakening begin to shift their thinking. As the chamber is unsealed, the team descends into a sprawling, stone-carved labyrinth filled with forgotten artifacts, preserved skeletal guardians, and murals depicting a brutal history of vampire wars and betrayal. At the center, they find a massive coffin surrounded by protective sigils, its surface cracked, as if something inside has begun to stir. The air is thick with a pulsing energy, and even Willa falters, overcome by a sense of dread she's never felt before. Eliza's readings confirm it. The awakening is accelerating. Zed and Addison realize they're standing at the edge of history, and possibly the front lines of a new war. With the chamber now exposed, there's no turning back. The ancient force is real. It's waking up fast, and only a united front, vampires, zombies, werewolves, and beyond, can hope to stop it. Confrontation and reveal. The fragile situation at Camp Redwood spirals into full-blown crisis when a mysterious shadow figure begins launching attacks in the dead of night. Both the Daywalkers and Shadyside vampires suffer unexpected ambushes. Campers are found unconscious with strange markings on their skin, and ancient protective charms are shattered without a trace of struggle. The attacks are swift, terrifying, and leave behind no footprints, only a lingering, unnatural cold. Initially, the vampire factions accuse each other again, tensions flaring into open hostility. But during one brutal ambush, both Nova and Victor witness the shadowy entity firsthand, a shifting, monstrous figure cloaked in darkness with glowing red eyes and movements too fast for the eye to follow. It doesn't speak, only screeches in a voice that seems to echo from the depths of history itself. For the first time, the two rival leaders are forced to accept a truth neither wanted to believe. Something older and far more dangerous than their feud is awakening, and it sees them all as enemies. This terrifying realization pushes Nova and Victor into a reluctant but necessary alliance. They meet under a blood moon at the edge of the camp, watched closely by their wary followers, and agree to put aside centuries of hatred for the greater good. They share the final pieces of the prophecy which Eliza helps decode, a forgotten vampire entity known only as Umbra, a primordial vampire lord banished by his own kind for attempting to enslave all monster races and rule in eternal darkness. Buried beneath Camp Redwood by the first vampires, to prevent his rise, Umbra's seal has been weakening for centuries. And the recent clash between vampire bloodlines, along with the unlocking of the underground chamber, has given him just enough power to begin breaking free. His goal is clear: destroy Seabrook, where unity among monsters has proved that peace is possible, and use its fall as a signal to rebuild the world in his image, ruled by fear and blood. With time running out, Zed and Addison take center stage, stepping up as the only leaders trusted by all factions. They organize a cross-monster alliance: zombies, werewolves, aliens, and both vampire groups, uniting them under a common cause for the first time in history. Addison uses her alien heritage to amplify protective energies, while Zed, drawing on his leadership and strength, trains the campers and counselors for the coming battle. Old rivalries are momentarily put to rest, replaced by a shared understanding. Unless they fight together, none of them will survive what's coming. The confrontation has peeled away every illusion of safety. The real war is no longer between vampires, but between unity and extinction, and only together can they face the night. Musical alliance, the tension reaches its peak, and the monsters from all factions, daywalkers, shady-side vampires, werewolves, zombies, and even a few alien allies, are brought together in an unexpected but powerful way, through music. As the looming threat of Umbra grows stronger, the characters realize that their only hope of overcoming their fear and old animosities is to unite their strengths and talents. And what better way to do that than through song? The scene is a montage of musical numbers that express each character's internal journey, their struggles, and their growth as they begin to work together. The first major musical number features Zed and Addison leading the charge, with the iconic song Someday getting a fresh, upbeat remix. This new version of the song symbolizes their hope for a future where monsters of all kinds live in peace and harmony. Zed and Addison sing together, reminding everyone of their shared vision for a better world, one where their differences don't divide them, but make them stronger. The song is filled with hope, passion, and the energy of youth dreaming of a better tomorrow, and it becomes the rallying cry for everyone at Camp Redwood. As the camp begins to come together, the next musical number is a powerful group anthem about unity, a song that combines the voices of every faction. One Heart, One Fight is a show-stopping performance that blends rock, pop, and orchestral elements, with Zed, Addison, Nova, Victor, Willa, and Eliza all taking turns in the spotlight. The song echoes the themes of overcoming old grudges, confronting fears, and learning to trust each other. Even the rival vampire groups, Nova's Daywalkers and Victor's Shadyside vampires, sing together, with their once icy relationship transforming into a powerful bond as they realize the only way to defeat Umbra is to unite as one force. The chorus swells and the entire camp joins in, creating an uplifting and powerful moment where the music transcends their differences, symbolizing the true power of unity. Throughout the number, there are moments of emotional breakthroughs, Nova, who once scorned the idea of working with Victor, shares a heartfelt duet with him, singing about the need to let go of the past and trust one another for the greater good. Willa, the usually stoic werewolf alpha, lets her fierce energy shine as she leads a group of younger werewolves in a raucous, energetic dance sequence, while Eliza's tech-savvy skills are put to use in creating a mesmerizing light show that underscores the emotional weight of the music. The scene is filled with vibrant choreography, dynamic camera work, and high-energy performances, as all the factions slowly let go of their old rivalries, letting the music heal their wounds and remind them of the power of standing together. It's not just a performance, but a symbolic and literal coming together of everyone involved, a metaphor for the strength that lies in embracing differences and working as one to overcome adversity. As the final chorus reaches its peak, the scene ends with a sweeping aerial shot of the camp, where the characters, all singing in unison, stand together, united. The haunting sound of the mysterious howls fades away in the distance, drowned out by their voices, signifying that they are now ready to face the upcoming battle together as one unstoppable force. Final battle. The tension culminates in a heart-pounding, high-stakes showdown as the ancient vampire entity, Umbra, makes its full return. The night is marked by a rare celestial event, a blood-red eclipse that casts an ominous glow over Seabrook, signaling the moment when Umbra will break free from his centuries-old prison and begin his conquest. The sky crackles with energy, and the camp is bathed in an eerie red light as dark clouds swirl overhead, signaling the imminent arrival of doom. The scene begins with Zed, Addison, Nova, Victor, Willa, and Eliza standing together at the edge of the camp, fully aware that the fate of Seabrook, and possibly the entire world, rests on their shoulders. Each of them has undergone an incredible journey of growth, confronting their fears, letting go of old grudges, and learning to trust one another. The battle takes place in the heart of the forest, where the ground trembles and the ancient chamber has opened fully, releasing a torrent of dark energy that Umbra controls. As Umbra emerges from the depths, his form is massive, shadowy, and terrifying, an amalgamation of darkness, a swirling ancient power that seems to feed off the fear and hatred in the air. His eyes glow with malice, and his voice rumbles like thunder, promising to bring eternal night to Seabrook and beyond. Zed and Addison step forward first, ready to lead the charge, but it's clear that their combined strength alone won't be enough to defeat Umbra. The vampires, divided for so long, must join forces. In an intense, unified attack, Nova and Victor call upon their vampire powers. Nova uses her mastery of sunlight and her ability to walk in daylight, and Victor taps into the dark magic of his heritage, combining both light and dark energies into a single devastating force. Together, they manage to weaken Umbra's form, but it's not enough to stop him completely. Willa, tapping into the primal energy of her werewolf form, unleashes her full alpha strength, fighting Umbra's shadowy minions with ferocity. As a werewolf, she is able to counter the shadows, forcing them back into the depths from which they came. But the real key to defeating Umbra lies in Eliza, whose technological expertise becomes crucial. She uses her zombie ingenuity to hack into the mystical barriers that hold the seal over the underground chamber, amplifying the energy and redirecting it back toward Umbra, temporarily immobilizing him. With Eliza's technology creating an opening, Zed and Addison work together, channeling their unique hybrid abilities, using their love and unity to spark a powerful energy that strikes Umbra directly at the heart of his darkness. Their combined light pushes through the shadows, weakening him even further. As Umbra writhes in agony, realizing he cannot win, the vampires unite for the final blow. Nova and Victor, side by side for the first time, focus all their powers, and with the help of the entire team, they finally destroy Umbra's form, banishing the ancient evil forever. The sky clears as the blood-red eclipse fades and dawn breaks over Seabrook. The forest and camp slowly return to normal, but the emotional weight of the battle lingers in the air. In the aftermath, the vampires, once divided, come together as a single, unified group. Nova and Victor, their differences finally reconciled, agree to put their rivalry behind them, acknowledging that only together can they build a peaceful future. The Daywalkers and Shadyside vampires officially merge into one faction, promising to live in harmony with the other residents of Seabrook, zombies, werewolves, and humans alike. They understand now that unity is not just a dream, but a necessity for survival. As Zed and Addison stand together, looking at the newly united camp, they realize that the battle they fought was not just against a dark force, but against the very forces of division and fear. The community they fought for is no longer a distant hope. It's real. The final battle has been won, not just by defeating Umbra, but by proving that love, trust, and unity can overcome even the darkest of evils. The screen fades to black with a hopeful, triumphant musical score, signaling the start of a new chapter for Seabrook, one where all monsters can finally live together in peace. Back to Seabrook. The camp that once seemed like a battleground for rival factions has now become a place of healing and unity. After the defeat of Umbra, all the monsters, vampires, werewolves, zombies, and others celebrate their hard-earned victory. The campgrounds are filled with laughter, music, and joyful camaraderie as the various factions share stories, meals, and even dance together under the stars. Zed and Addison walk through the camp one last time, their hands intertwined, knowing that what they've accomplished is more than just defeating an ancient evil. It's about changing hearts and minds, building a future where all creatures can coexist peacefully. The vampires, once bitterly divided, now work side by side with the zombies, werewolves, and other residents of Seabrook. The moonlight reflects off the lake, symbolizing the calm after the storm, as the camp fades into a new, brighter future. As the sun rises on the final day of camp, Zed and Addison say their goodbyes to their friends, exchanging warm hugs with Nova, Victor, Willa, Eliza, and the other campers. With the Daywalkers and Shadyside vampires now united, they make their peace with their past and look forward to rebuilding their futures. Zed and Addison are ready to return home to Seabrook, hopeful for a future where their vision of unity isn't just a dream, but a reality. As they drive away from Camp Redwood, the camera pulls back, showing the campgrounds, now peaceful and united, with the forest that once held so many secrets now bathed in sunlight. But just as they leave, the post-credits scene teases a new development. The camera cuts to the outskirts of Seabrook, where a mysterious, magical energy pulses from an unknown source. The wind stirs the trees, and glowing symbols begin to appear in the sky. From the shadows, a new magical species, sleek and mysterious, begins to take form, its glowing eyes and distinct features hinting at something entirely new and unknown. The camera lingers on this new entity for just a moment before cutting to black, leaving a lingering sense of anticipation for what's to come next. The screen fades out, and the credits roll, leaving fans excited for the future of Seabrook and wondering what new challenges and alliances will arise with the arrival of this mysterious new species.